Hey everyone, welcome to the Keep Watching podcast, where we decide what to watch so you don't have to. I'm James.
And I'm Sarah.
And today we're going to be talking about Miss Marvel. Sarah, did you do anything fun this week?
I did. Actually, I went to see Jurassic World Dominion with my family, and I have some thoughts and feelings.
Okay. I haven't seen it. I do want to see it, but I'm not going to see it in theaters.
Well, I don't think I'm going to spoil anything. I just have some high-level discussion points. Well, first of all, so the very first Jurassic Park movie was one of the defining movies of my childhood. So I am connected to this franchise. But I kind of feel like Jurassic World might as well be a Fast and Furious movie at this point because it's just ridiculous over the top action.
Yeah, I love the Jurassic Worlds.
The Raptors used to be tactical and scary, and now they're just screamy chase monsters, which is
gotcha.
Whatever. And they brought back the three main folks from the first movie. And so it's them plus the main people from the Jurassic World movies. And it's just oh, you're obviously not going to kill anyone. There is zero tension here at all. But they did a lot of nice callback shots, that mirrored stuff throughout the whole series, which was really nice. And there were lines from previous films. And so it's a lot of little fan servicey things that were nice.
That's cool.
Also, they did add some new cast members, and they are straight up hotties. I very much appreciated them. Yeah, there's this super scientist guy who's in charge of the big bad company, right? And he has a super genius in training, I guess, and he's a hottie. And then there's this pilot, and she's giving me big bi energy through the whole movie. So she's amazing too. And so yeah.
Cool.
I enjoyed it, but it might as well have been Fast and Furious.
You have sold this movie tenfold for me.
Well, good. I hope you enjoy
really
it.
want to see this now. If you say anything has gotten to the ridiculousness level of Fast and Furious, I'm in.
That's your favorite franchise, right?
Yeah. I wish we could come up with a reason to talk about Fast and Furious movies on this podcast. I don't know if it's my favorite franchise, but I mean, it has the most movies.
Yeah, how many are there by now?
I think there are 9. I don't even know if I've seen the latest one, actually. There are 9, and then there's a one-off that might not count. I don't know.
I've seen some side interview stuff where people from Jurassic World and people from Fast and Furious have they're aware of each other, saying that they should just do a crossover.
Oh, that'd be so good.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm in. The only thing that I knew about Jurassic Park going in before you just told me all that stuff, I saw Chris Pratt on late night TV, and he apparently without permission from production at all was just sent out a tweet one day or something saying that whoever donates X amount of money to this foundation, I'll enter into a raffle, and you get a certain amount of raffle tickets per amount of money or something, and then whoever I draw to the raffle can be in the Jurassic World movie.
Did he get that approved, or was he just
Well, he did eventually. But the scene in the movie, they showed it, or they showed a clip of it or something. It's the part where the guy on the Segway gets chomped by the T-Rex.
Amazing.
And that guy on the Segway just won a raffle to be in the movie.
That's pretty excellent.
Yeah, that's good.
So what about you? Did you get up to anything this week?
I've been watching a lot of Marvel content in preparation for this podcast. That's what I've been doing.
That's fair.
We'll do a quick run through of all the Marvel content that's exclusive on Disney Plus before we start Miss Marvel. But before that, since our last podcast, the Obi-Wan Kenobi finale has happened.
Oh, yes, it did. Our podcast is starting to feel like a Disney Plus joint. We're gonna have to branch out pretty soon.
We just did Food Wars. What are you talking about?
That's true. But this is our 3rd Disney Plus episode out of 7.
Disney Plus has some good content right now. What can we say? Do you want to give your brief thoughts on the Kenobi finale?
How spoilery are we being right now?
No spoils, just feelings.
There is a moment that is essentially kind of reused from a moment in Rebels, but with
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, with Obi-Wan instead of Ahsoka. And the reactions between those two characters are different, and it kind of sucks that it's like reused, but it's also kind of amazing. And I just loved that moment of like human emotion and connection and so many feels. But generally, I liked it.
Loved it. Okay.
Yeah.
I cannot say that I feel the same way.
No?
No. And I don't really want to be like talking negatively about a show unless it's going to make a fun podcast. So I don't know how passionately you feel about Obi-Wan being a good show, or at least like the finale or whatever, but I feel like I have a lot to say about what I did not like about like
Really?
the finale. And
Okay.
I'm proposing a potential like maybe debate episode of the podcast where we could go through. We talked about 1, 2, and 3 in our first Obi-Wan podcast. So maybe we could do like maybe a less like scene by scene recap and more of just like we go through 4, 5, and 6. There's plenty of stuff I liked, but where we ended up at the end, I think I have a lot to say about missed opportunities and whatnot.
Yeah, I'd be into that.
Okay. Well,
I mean, honestly, you're going to suggest things and I'm going to be like, yeah, sure, that sounds like fun.
Okay. Well, mull it over for the rest of the podcast and we'll circle back around at the end. Okay?
All right.
Okay. All right. You want to go through all the Marvel stuff? That's on Disney
all
Plus.
of it.
All of it. Let's go. Let's just quickly go through the things that the live action TV series for Marvel content.
Well, do you want to give a little context about like how into the Marvel stuff we are?
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
I was never a like superhero comic book reader. I like comic books that are like a contained story and you don't have to read like 30 years of stuff to know what's going on. But I watched a lot of the movies. I like the space nonsense. So like Guardians of the Galaxy, the third Thor movie, those are like my favorite genre of Marvel things. Captain America is like whatever, I don't know, too serious, I guess, for me. But yeah, so there's stuff I really like, and then there's stuff that I could just take or leave and didn't see some of the movies. So I'm not a super fan of Marvel stuff. What about you?
I think I've seen everything now.
That's a lot.
I'm trying to think. What haven't I seen? This week I finished up the Eternals movies, which I paused halfway through because it wasn't too intriguing. And I watched did you see that the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness movie is on Disney Plus?
I saw that it's on, but I haven't watched it yet.
Okay, I watched it. And then I'm trying to think of what I might not have seen. I think I've seen all the main MCU content.
Okay.
And things that I don't think are included in that would be like Deadpool, I have not seen, and the Venom movies, I have not seen.
Oh, yeah, I have not seen those.
I do want to see the Venom movies eventually, but for whatever reason, I haven't gotten around to them.
I did like Deadpool. And I missed a bunch of SpiderMan movies.
Oh, you missed out on SpiderMan movies.
But like Into the Spider-Verse, that I've seen, and that's a very good Spider-Man movie.
Yeah. Well,
there's just too much.
We'll get into Spider-Man for sure on this.
Okay.
We're not going anywhere without talking about Spider-Man.
Okay.
But let's wait. Okay. So all these shows that I'm about to mention on Disney Plus, the TV series, I've seen all of these. Have you seen all the TV series? Except for you said you haven't seen Hawkeye last
I have
week.
not seen Hawkeye, and I have not seen that What If show. I saw like 2 episodes of that. I didn't finish it, which is not a live action one, so maybe that doesn't count.
I didn't count that. I have watched at least the first episode of the What If thing. I couldn't get into it. I think that What If stuff tied in a little bit to the Doctor Strange,
the whole multiverse situation.
But the first one that I'm counting is WandaVision.
Yes.
WandaVision also, I think, leads into the Doctor Strange movie a little bit, but I don't think you have to have seen it, but it will explain Wanda's character in the movie better if you have seen this.
Okay.
But WandaVision is very quirky, and I liked it.
I loved WandaVision. It was great.
Good. And the next one I have is The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
That was solidly okay.
I actually really liked Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And like you, I am not big on Captain America. Like I've seen all the Captain America movies. Civil War is like more of an Avengers movie, so I've seen that multiple times. But the ones where Captain America, it's like mostly Captain America only. I've only seen those movies like once. I've not gone back and watched them.
I did not see the second Captain America movie, which I think is where you were introduced to this Winter Soldier person. So
yes,
I didn't know all the things going into this one.
But the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I really liked it because I felt like it was a really good like common ground, like understanding where people are coming from when it comes to racial issues, because they do get into racial issues in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I did like I don't know, is that the Falcon character, his conflict of like picking up as being essentially Captain America for a country where he doesn't necessarily feel welcome and safe in as a black man. That was some good commentary there. So that I liked.
Yeah, Bucky the Winter Soldier guy, I actually don't even remember like his importance to the show. It's Falcon and his transition to dealing with no Steve Rogers anymore and being asked to be Captain America and all this stuff. Yeah. But I did end up really like that. I think it's the best Captain America content out there.
I'd agree with that of what I've seen, yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, the bar is very low for me when it comes to Captain America stuff.
My bar's not that low, but I think it easily was better.
I think I was forever traumatized by his normal size head on that teeny scrawny CGI body. It just put me off forever.
All right, next one I have is Loki.
Oh, Loki was incredible. I love Loki so much.
Yes. Another quirky one.
I like the quirky stuff. And it's it's space nonsense. This is my jam.
I guess it was.
Space
they did go to different
nonsense,
space. Yeah, they went to different planets and stuff. But it's a lot of time traveling. Also, I really like that one. Then there's Hawkeye, which you haven't seen, which I liked.
Because it just seemed so Christmassy. I couldn't. Very corny. But I will try one day.
Yeah, hopefully we'll talk about that someday on this podcast. Moon Knight.
Oh, also loved it.
Moon Knight snuck up on me. I just watched that this week. Dang, was that good.
Oh, this is the first time you watched it?
Yeah.
Oh,
it was good.
As soon as I saw Oscar Isaac was in it, I was like, yes, please give me this. I need it. And then he had an amazing British accent. And I was like, yes, more of this. Only this forever.
His British accent was like a timid guy who
I know, it was amazing.
Okay, yeah. Well, I guess I didn't have like super high hope for it even after you recommended it, because I knew you just liked the actor.
I mean, it was also a good show. There was just the bonus of he sounds amazing.
That show, it's like it starts out weird, and then about halfway through it gets even weirder, but it's done really well. I like it. Yeah. Except, okay, I will say for Moon Knight, I'm not good with like gory stuff, which is partially why I've never seen Deadpool. Yeah. And the very beginning of Moon Knight is like this guy breaking glass and putting it in his sandals and then putting his feet in the sandals. And that was if you had not recommended this show to me, I probably would have stopped watching at that point. Because I was just like, if this is what this show is going to be, I don't think this show's for me.
Sometimes I forget to give you a content warning. I should be better about that.
I mean, it wasn't even that bad. Like, they didn't show bleeding or anything, but it was still like gave me the cringy feels in my body that I don't want to be watching this. Yeah. But it was fine the rest of the way. I just don't know. They didn't even have to do it. It was totally unnecessary to make that the opening scene of the show. Yeah. And then what we're going to talk about today is Miss Marvel. But coming up later this year is a show called She-Hulk, Attorney at Law.
I just love that that's the title. It's so fun.
And if you haven't seen the trailer for She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, I suggest you go find the trailer for that.
It looks like a good time.
Decide for yourself how fun this show is going to be. But that is a date I found for August 17th.
Oh, I'm excited.
And I'm definitely in. So I've gone through all these. I would recommend every single one of these so far. I think Marvel's doing a really good job with these miniseries.
Like, I think I like a lot of the shows better than some of the movies. Like a good portion of the movies, maybe.
They can get a lot deeper into the characters. They're most of them are 6 episodes. Some of them I think are 9. I think WandaVision is 9. And I think She-Hulk is going to be 9. But even in 6 episodes, like if it's 40 minutes an episode or whatever, that's
Yeah.
That's more time than a movie.
Yeah, a lot more character development, which is something that resonates with me more than lots of punches.
Yeah. So I think I don't know if we need to talk about any of these on the podcast, but I guess we've seen all of these, so they don't fit the context of the podcast. But I'd be willing to talk about any of these shows at any time.
Oh yeah.
If somebody wanted us to talk about them and wanted to let us know, we're definitely in for talking about any of these shows.
If we were a more popular podcast, I'd be concerned that Disney was paying you and not telling me. But yeah, I would also be happy talking about any of these.
Okay. And okay, Sarah, who's your favorite superhero / what's your favorite Marvel content? I don't think you said that specifically yet, right?
You say this like you know the answer. I don't know that I know the answer.
Well, this isn't even Marvel content, but I know you really liked the original or the first Wonder Woman movie.
The first Wonder Woman movie was amazing, and I saw it and I was like, all movies forever should just be Wonder Woman movies. And then they came out with the second one and I amended that statement. But I did really enjoy the Captain Marvel movie. I do love a badass lady superhero.
Oh, okay, Captain Marvel. Okay. I did like Captain Marvel. For me, it's SpiderMan. I've never seen a Spider-Man movie I didn't like. So every Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland, I love them all. And the one that you liked, Into the Spider-Verse, was also great.
I've only seen the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and then Into the Spider-Verse, so I have a lot to catch up on. But I think Into the Spider-Verse, I don't see how that could be beat. Like, it's such a good movie in terms of Spider-Man movies.
Well, for me, the Spider-Man No Way Home is like my favorite movie now of all time.
Oh, okay.
There are times. Have you ever had a time where you left the movie theater and you're like, okay, that's my new favorite movie?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I've had that moment a few times in my life, and now the most recently it was Spider-Man No Way Home. I think the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man's like, if you go back and watch them, they don't really hold up anymore, but back when they came out, they were good. And I think Andrew Garfield, actually, the Amazing Spider-Man, is my favorite Spider-Man of the three, as in terms of just the way he plays Peter Parker is my favorite. Not necessarily the stories or what's in the content of the movies, but yeah, Spider-Man for me all day. And I think there's going to be a lot of similarities between Spider-Man and Miss Marvel, who we're about to talk about, since they're both high school students.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. There's going to be differences, which I think we can get into as well.
Oh, wait. I have to change my answer. It's not Captain Marvel. It's Thor Ragnarok. It's full space nonsense. That's my favorite Marvel movie.
Oh, really?
I forgot about that. Yes.
Are you excited for Thor Love and Thunder?
Yes. Oh my gosh, I want it. It's like the first Thor movie was like, whatever. Then I didn't watch the second one. And then the third one's just like, wait, we've rethought everything. It's goofy space time. And I was like, this is what I've been waiting for.
Yeah. When I saw Thor Ragnarok, I was like, okay, Marvel has figured out the formula. Like every movie from here on out is going to be good, because I think my favorite parts of like the first couple Avenger movies, like I was really all about Iron Man, and his role in the movie is just like, if it's my turn to talk, I'm just going to have a witty line that's funny. And like, that's his role in the movie. And when Thor Ragnarok came out, it was like, okay, let's put Thor and Hulk in a movie and make them all as witty as Iron Man.
It was so good.
Yeah, it was just like everything is just funny now. And I was like, this is what Marvel movies should be. Just nonstop joking, basically. So there's a big difference between the character of Thor between Thor 2 and Ragnarok, I believe.
A big improvement.
Big improvement, yeah. And I don't know exactly what Love and Thunder is going to be, but
it looks like the same jam.
It looks like it's gonna be good. Anything else before we start with Miss Marvel?
I think I'm ready for Miss Marvel.
Actually, wait. I wanted to have a shout out for our friend of the podcast and our mutual friend in real life, who we told a story about previously on the podcast.
Yes.
He has had a baby with his wife.
I haven't seen any pictures yet, but I assume she's cute.
Yeah, so I want to say congratulations to Yohando and Nadine on their new daughter. Her name is Serenity.
Yes.
Nickname Sarah, but I believe they're just pronouncing it Sarah. You can pretend like they named their daughter after you.
I mean, did I tell you about when I asked him about what they were naming this baby?
I think you told me that you were already pretending.
Well, I don't know if I'm pretending or not, because he said, hey, we're having a baby. And I was like, oh, have you thought about names yet? And he's like, yeah, we're naming her after you. And I went, haha, funny joke. And he's like, well, not really. And so I can't tell at how far he was joking or not. I don't think they named the baby after me, but he said they did.
Well, if this makes the podcast, they'll let us know. I'm guessing it's not after you, Sarah.
That's why I laughed at him at first, but then he deadpan told me that it wasn't a joke.
Okay. Interesting. What do you think of the name Serenity?
Cute.
Great name. So good. No, what's another good name?
What is another good name?
Kamala.
That is a good name.
Kamala Khan is the character in Miss Marvel that we're going to be talking a lot about. I love the Marvel alliteration names.
Oh yeah.
And Kamala Khan, that's such a good name. If I had another kid, Kamala's on the list.
Yeah.
All right, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Ready to talk about Kamala Khan?
Kamala Khan.
We start with a fun musical artistic opening.
And the first thing I wrote down is I don't like 80s music, but this song absolutely slaps. And it's not actually an 80s
it's
song.
It's not 80s music. It's
I know.
Wanted.
But
oh, not the Wanted. The Weeknd. It's the Weeknd.
Yeah, I know, but it synths like 80s music. You know, like it's meant to sound kind of like 80s music.
Oh, I guess. Yeah, it's good.
And I did have to look it up because like I don't know popular music.
I knew it was the Weeknd. I didn't know what song it was, but I've heard it a bunch. I'm pretty sure it was like featured in the Super Bowl halftime show like 2 years ago or something.
Well, I'm telling you what apparently everybody already knows, which is that this song slaps.
Okay. What was the? Oh, we have to tell this story. This one time when we first met each other. I'm trying to remember the artist's name.
I think we had known each other for a couple years, and I was like,
I mean, we were still working in our first like low level department area.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, within 6 months of meeting each other.
Was it 21 Pilots or was it Macklemore? I think
Macklemore,
it was Macklemore.
Yeah. Sarah's like listening to music in her cube or whatever, and she's like, "Oh, I'm listening to this new artist I found called Macklemore, and he's got this great song called Thrift Shop." And I was like, "Oh, really, Sarah? You're listening to the song that's on every radio station in the country right now?"
I don't listen to radio stations. I listen to random indie like hipster shit from the early 2000s and K-pop. That's it.
That was so funny because you had told me before that you don't really listen to like, modern pop music.
Yeah. So sometimes it sneaks its way in and I feel like I found a secret.
So funny to me.
But everybody else already knows about it.
Oh my god.
I just wanted to share what was making me happy that day, James.
It made me happy that you shared that. So we get the Weeknd song, and it also has a bunch of like paper cutouts of a bunch of Avengers / Marvel characters, and Kamala is the voice that's like telling a story over top of it, basically.
Yeah, it's like she had like drawn and cut out all these characters and like stop motion animated them together. It was the sense you're supposed to get for like her YouTube channel, but it is actually like CG stuff, so it looks like really, really well done. And this part was really cool. I liked the whole vibe. It really sets you up for just like her whole deal.
Yeah, it's basically like an Avengers Endgame recap where she really highlights Captain Marvel's role in it because that's going to be Kamala's favorite superhero.
And she calls out Captain Marvel for having really good hair. So like immediately I'm vibing with this kid.
Oh, true. That's so funny, actually. And then she briefly mentions that she learned a lot about all the superheroes by listening to the Scott Lang's podcast, aka Ant-Man's podcast.
Oh, is that? I've not seen any of the Ant-Man, so I did not get this reference.
Oh, you didn't know who Scott Lang was? Oh, no.
I did not.
Yeah, Scott Lang is Ant-Man. And the name of the podcast is called Big Me, Little Me. And I looked it up. It's not a real podcast.
That's a bummer. They should make it.
But she's going to mention in this that Avenger Con is this weekend. It's the first ever Avenger Con. And she's planning to go dressed as Captain Marvel, and she's going to enter the cosplay contest.
Yep.
And then she wraps up this like intro with shouting out her like YouTube channel, which I guess she's going to post this on. The name of the YouTube channel is called Slothbaby Productions. This is actually a real YouTube channel, Sarah.
Oh, really? I didn't look it
Yeah.
up. Does it have what is essentially this video? Like,
I don't know. I briefly looked at it, and it's like it is a lot of Marvel videos, and some of it's just like clips from the movies.
mm,
And then, but there's also non-Marvel related stuff on it. And there's a video of like her like thanking the fans for watching the trailer or something was like the main featured thing.
oh,
It's
okay.
it's the exact it has the exact like YouTube artwork that they show in the show.
Okay.
In the show, the channel only has 2 subscribers. I would imagine in real life it has more than 2 subscribers.
Yeah.
But they didn't have like a ton of views on each of their videos.
Hmm.
So it's not like a super popular YouTube channel, but I just thought it was weird. It was actually a real.
I didn't even
YouTube
think to look it up, but yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so instantaneously, I'm like vibing with this kid. She's great. She's creative and fun and just like super passionate about stuff.
Awesome. Me too. Now, Sarah, you've only watched the first episode of this, correct?
No, I watched all of them that were out last.
Oh, okay. When we presented this, it was kind of like I had watched all of it and you hadn't watched it, correct?
Correct. And then I was just going to watch the first episode because I like to just watch what we're going to talk about for the episode if that's, what's happening. Spoiler alert, I kept watching. I liked it.
I spoiled it by asking you that. Okay. That's good. I've thought about that in the past. Like, oh, if you recommend a show, if we ever talk about a show that you recommend.
If ever.
If ever. And I liked it, I'd probably just keep watching it and then just like pretend that I hadn't kept watching it until the end of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess now we've spoiled it.
I'm very bad at hiding my feelings about shows. I will endeavor to do better.
I don't think the reveal of whether or not we're going to keep watching is actually the biggest part of this podcast, despite it being the name of the podcast.
It's fair.
I don't know. But if I'm wrong about that, people let me know.
Yeah.
Okay. After the fun intro, that was fun. We're going to find out that Kamala has a driving test coming up.
Yes. Her fun little like moment gets interrupted by her mom yelling like, you have to get down here and go. It's time to leave. And we see all of her family. And I got very confused about who was who. I thought her brother was her dad and her dad was her grandpa. But I figured that out. Eventually, I figured out who was who.
Yeah, and her mom is like telling her, like giving her driving tips. And her tip is like, remember to look in the mirror every 15 seconds.
Like a really performative move so the instructor knows you're paying attention to mirrors.
Yeah. It's not actually a driving tip. It's just like a how to pass your driving test tip.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was weird. But I think her dad is like, you don't actually have to look in your mirror every 15 seconds. But then he's like, but you do want to just like move your head a little bit as if you're
so
looking
it
in
looks
the mirror.
like you
I don't know. I never even thought about how many times I looked in the mirror when I was taking my driving test.
Oh, I was so anxious when I took mine. I have no idea what I was thinking.
Oh, so was I. But that was not one of the criteria that I was worried about. I want to say, I think taking a driving test for whatever reason is still like the most nerve-wracking thing that I've ever done in my life, and it's like it really shouldn't be. Like in the moment, I know it doesn't actually matter now, but for some reason, I feel like the way that it gets built up when you're like taking the driver test is like when you're only like 16, 17 years old or whatever you are at the time. It just feels like there's like so much shame in failing your test.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. That's how I felt.
I felt like really overwhelmed with driving in general. Like it was just scary. Just like who lets people like fling these ton vehicles around the road at people? But so I always drove really slow, and I saw on the driver instructor's like checklist that one of it was like doesn't drive too slow. So I was like, oh no, I have to go faster.
Oh wow. You looked at the checklist.
Or I forget if it was like they told you ahead of time or something. So then I got in my head about it. And then at the end I got my, I passed, but he was like, you gotta worry about that lead foot. Don't go so fast. I was like, damn it, I overcorrected.
You passed though.
I think it was because it was Christmas Eve day, probably. He was a little charitable.
I did fail my first driving test, but I think it was for bullshit reasons.
Oh yeah?
It was like you ever like pull up to like an like a stop sign intersection, and like if you want to see if like a car is coming so you can go, you kind of have to like move past the stop sign.
Yeah.
To like see. I guess what you're supposed to do is like stop at the stop sign before the stop sign and then
roll.
Yeah. Which was not like a thought that went into my practice.
I
just drove the way like, a human drives when when in a real life scenario, but that was enough to not pass the test right there.
Wow.
Brutal.
They were not feeling charitable for you.
Yeah. And I nailed the parallel parking, which I don't even know is like a requirement anymore.
Oh, really? It's not a
I
requirement?
think some places it's not. I don't know. Driving tests are weird. But you know who wasn't nervous? Or didn't seem nervous about their
Oh,
driving test?
she so confidently backed into that other car.
Well, before that, she's like wearing like sunglasses.
They're like aviator glasses,
Yeah.
like Captain America or Captain Marvel wears, like in her downtime.
Yeah, she just has like the biggest smile on her face, like everything in the world is just gonna work out perfectly. And then
And it does not.
the driver instructor's like, okay, you can go. And she just slams the gas. The car goes backwards and slams directly into the driving instructor's car. And that's the intro to Kamala Khan that we get.
Yep. Confidence everywhere.
And then I thought there was pretty funny stuff with her parents after this. They like her parents like come by to like get her after she fails the test. And like the driving instructor is basically saying nothing. Like he's obviously upset about what happened, but not really said anything. And her parents are actually like berating the driving instructor, saying that he didn't like teach her properly.
Or he's just like, what, you expected her to put on her turn signal at every turn? And he's just like, well, yeah, but we didn't even get out of the space. And like her mom's like, well, how could you test her on the road with all these other cars? And he's like, we didn't make it to the other cars. She ran into my car.
Yeah, they're like, oh, did she not look in the mirror often enough? And he's just like, I promise you that was not the issue.
I'm walking home today.
Oh man. And then when they're driving home, we get the first glimpse of kind of like how Kamala's imagination works a little bit. She's like looking out the window of the car, and we get this like cartoon, like paper cutout version of like Captain Marvel like flying through the air. And her mom's like blabbing on and on about something, and she just like chooses to just like not pay attention, and she's like just imagining Captain Marvel right outside her car flying around.
Creative part of her brain does not shut off for anything. She's kind of living in her own world, and it seems way more interesting than the normal world, so I don't blame her.
And then this next scene is when I was like, okay, this is gonna be fun. I love when like the main character is like a kid in high school. And she just rolls into high school.
But like all that confidence she had with like driving and like her YouTube channel or whatever seems just like not effective at school at all.
Yes.
Like immediately, like there's a coach that says her name wrong. There's like some basketball kid who's like doing basketball things in front of her, and she's just like, "Ma, stop it!" And just she's trying to be like, "Hey, what's up, people?" And it's just not landing anywhere. And I'm like, "Oh no, she has no friends. This is sad."
Yeah, just like everybody she tries to interact with, she just has a super awkward interaction with, and she can tell her that the confidence that she had before the driving test is not what she has when she goes to school.
But she does actually seem to have at least 2 friends who show up, and that's good.
Yes, the first friend that pops up, his name is Bruno. And did you catch this? At one point, they're talking, they're both like really, really excited about Avenger Con. So we get the second mention of Avenger Con. And then I forget exactly what they're talking about, but then she like disagrees with him about something. So she's like, no, Bruno. Is this an Encanto reference?
I don't know, but I sure had that Encanto song stuck in my head for a large part of this episode.
Did you catch this in the show, though?
Yeah.
You did? Yeah, okay. I think it's an Encanto reference. But then the second person we bump to is, for some reason, I thought this was like Kamala's sister, but I don't think it actually is.
No, she's just her friend, but I think like they're really close. Like in another episode later, when her friend is talking to Kamala's dad, she's like, I'm like your second daughter. So she's not actually, but they're very close.
Yeah, okay. Right now, there are 3 episodes of this out. I believe they're like a 4th one's dropping tomorrow, and there's going to be 6 episodes total. But you can tell they're pretty good friends because Bruno actually lost $10 to...
I can't remember her name right now. Dang it.
I don't know if they say her name in the first episode. That's why I don't have it written down either, actually.
Yeah.
But Bruno loses $10 to Kamala's friend.
He bet her that she would get her license, and she was like, nah, she's going to mess it up.
Yeah, which is kind of messed up for your 2 friends to be betting on you, but...
Yeah. But now that messes up their plans to get to Avenger Con.
Yes, so they have to start thinking of other options to getting to Avenger Con. But before the scene ends, they also bump into somebody on the staircase, and her name is Zoe Zimmer.
With that alliteration, yeah.
Yeah, great alliteration. But this is like the stereotypical, I guess, like popular girl who's like too cool for school kind of person.
Yes, she has like 100,000 followers on
Yeah,
whatever.
on Instagram, I think they say. Yeah, so she's gonna come up later in this episode.
But she at least like doesn't seem terrible. Like there's this moment where Kamala like bumps into her and she's like, "Hey," and then Kamala apologizes and she's like, "Yeah, it's fine, whatever." So like she's not like that stereotypical just like really mean high school popular girl. She just is really popular.
Yeah, they didn't make her seem like she was the worst, but like what Bruno and Kamala end up thinking about her is like similar to how people will complain about the cool girl at school or whatever.
They may have been friends before, and then like as she got popular, like they drifted apart, and so there's probably some resentment just for that.
That's like freaking always the storyline.
Yes.
in these high school, is like in Mean Girls, that's a thing.
Mm-hmm. Just like all high school content, it feels
In
like.
Senior Year, the movie I recommended the other week,
Mm-hmm.
it's the same thing. But Kamala's gonna get called to the guidance counselor's office.
And the guidance counselor thinks he is so cool.
Mr. Wilson is
I'm
his
sorry,
name.
that's his dad's name. His name is Gabe.
But Gabe is also his dad's name. I don't know why that was in the show. I guess it was like kind of funny, but it wasn't that funny.
Yeah. But he is trying to be really cool and also trying to get her to sort her life out. This is the first point where I'm like, this girl is amazing and also very talented. Why is no one recognizing this?
Oh, this is when you did it?
This is when it started. Because it's like, we know from the beginning and like some of the shots here that she's like a really good artist. Like he should be encouraging her to like put her energy into that. But he's just like, you gotta, get your head out of the clouds and start thinking about reality and what you really want. And it's like, I feel like she's made it clear what she enjoys, and like a good guidance counselor would maybe pick up on that.
Yeah. We see her like kind of like drift out of the conversation, and she starts like imagining like different like artistic things happening throughout the room.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like she's like imagining like her next YouTube video that she's gonna make kind of thing, I guess.
He calls out that teachers say that she's like doodling all the time, and it's like just somebody should have picked up on the fact that this is a thing she is passionate about and is actually good at.
Yeah.
The theme of me talking about this episode is going to be like, so many people have failed her. Why do they not encourage her with this?
The guidance counselor guy is kind of just like stereotypical guidance counselor, I guess. The greater disappointment for me is her parents, which we'll get into.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
But this is where it started to bother me.
Okay. Then we're gonna go to Bruno's Quickie Mart convenience store, is what this is, right?
Yeah, I guess he works there, but also lives above it. And also, does this child have any parents? I'm confused.
Yeah, and I actually didn't pick up on this the first watch through, but at some point we're gonna see like Bruno's character is actually like really close with Kamala's family, and they say something about later, like when Kamala's trying to get pity from her parents, she's like, "Oh, Bruno, he doesn't have much of a family, does he?" or something like that.
Yeah.
And I did not pick up on this the first time. We didn't say this is all takes place in Jersey City, which is in New Jersey, but it's basically like right across the water from Manhattan, which is where we were for the Monster X concert.
Yes.
We were right there where this show is.
And also like Manhattan's where everything like blows up in a lot of Avengers movies too. So
yeah, that's true.
They're used to seeing action close by.
A lot of things happen in Manhattan.
It's kind of a big deal.
But Kamala and Bruno are going to be talking about Avenger Con more. And Bruno's a little bit like, oh, I guess we'll just have to go next year. But Kamala's like, no, we must go to this Avenger Con because it's the first one ever. We can't miss it.
It's so important. And she's so excited about going. And she's been working on her costume. And we see it here. And it's actually like more than I expected from the children, Like they put a lot of effort into it.
Yeah, I think Kamala said she learned how to sew.
Mm-hmm. And he's like airbrushing it, the jacket, like in the shop. So I feel like no one's supervising this kid ever. Like whoever would own this convenience store would be like, why are you painting in the middle? Like, stop it, get back to work. But no one tells him to. I think he owns it.
Yeah. It is. Hopefully we get explained what Bruno's situation is. I think 3 episodes in, we don't really know.
I just hope someone's taking care of that poor child.
Oh, what I didn't say when before was when Kamala crashed the car into the instructor's car, she makes like this funny like face, I think. Like she like turns her head towards the camera and she makes like a cringy kind of face. And I just think Kamala has some amazing faces throughout this entire series. Yeah. She makes some funny faces.
She has a great range of acting, all like just on her facial expressions alone.
Yeah. And then Kamala and Bruno's friendship is just like really, really fun, I think, throughout this whole thing. And they do like to end this scene, they do like this like slow-mo high five.
Yeah, it was great.
They're fun to watch.
Yeah, they have great chemistry together.
And then they're gonna bike home or like back to Kamala's house. And along the way,
yeah, they're talking about like what she might do to give her costume like its final bit of flair. And they're like talking about mashing up different heroes into her costume, or like maybe a zombie Captain Marvel situation. And every time like they mention a thing, like it shows up like graffiti on the buildings behind them as they're like biking past, and it's like it's super cool. Like the whole visual language of this show is fun and interesting.
Yeah. And it actually reminded me a lot of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which is animated, but it had a lot of similar like graffiti style, like artistic background, like to show the thoughts of people.
Especially because Miles Morales was like, he was a graffiti artist too, so they like incorporated that in.
Yeah,
like it's a similar thing.
And later in this episode, I believe, and throughout the series, like if people are like texting each other,
oh, it's so much cooler than normal texting in TV shows.
Yeah, instead of like doing like showing the standard iPhone app display or whatever that they normally do, they'll show the text like on the ceiling in the shot that they're texting, or it'll be like on the street as they're receiving the text or whatever.
Or in the like neon signs of the convenience store. That was really cool.
Yeah, they just do a lot with like the background in the show, which is really fun. Okay, but I wrote down all their ideas.
Oh, hit me with them.
For cosplay flourish as they were biking. Let's decide which one's the best. Okay.
Okay.
First one is Steampunk Captain Marvel.
As they said, Steampunk is dead. No good.
Steampunk is dead. I thought you were a steampunk person.
I feel like I used to be. But
oh,
now
it's even dead to you.
I've grown out of steampunk. I don't know. It's not for me anymore.
What if K-pop brings back steampunk? Are you in?
Ooh, that would be a fun K-pop concept. I mean, but honestly, like my boys do anything, I'm into it. So whatever. Yes.
Okay. The next one, they start doing mashups, and they have Captain Panther, which would be Black Panther and Captain Marvel. And then they have Iron Marvel.
I feel like anytime you mix anything with Iron Man, that has potential for fun, just because like the visuals of like mechanical suit with anything else is fun.
These all sound pretty hard to do, especially in the limited time that they have.
Last minute as hell, yes.
This one they could do Doctor Strange Marvel.
I like that one.
She said like, oh, I could just get a cape or something.
Especially because like you've got this whole like multiverse situation going on, like that I think is a fun connection for when you do a like different version of a Captain Marvel.
Yeah. And then her final idea is zombie Captain Marvel.
I mean, that'd be pretty solid too, yeah.
I don't know if any of these ideas are better than just being Captain Marvel, but I don't know. I like Iron Marvel.
Yeah, same.
I don't know how they would pull it off.
I'm gonna pick.
I think that one would be the coolest.
Well, I mean, if any children could, like these children could, because we find out that like Bruno is some sort of like electrical engineer or something and is building stuff all the time. So why not?
Yeah, he's like applying to get into Caltech, but he seems like way advanced.
Yeah.
Already. But Kamala's gonna get home, and when she gets home, she sees a box that's been delivered. Was this addressed to her, or was it just to like the family or her mom or something?
I don't know that I saw the label. They're talking about it, and it seems to be like her grandmother sent a bunch of stuff for her brother's wedding.
Oh, that could be it. It seemed like it wasn't specifically to her, but it was like she knew like, oh, I can just open this.
Oh, yeah.
Like it wasn't a big deal. And she opens it up and she's finding like all this like jewelry, Kamala and her family are Pakistani, correct?
Yes.
So I don't know if this is like traditional Pakistani jewelry or just like Southern Asian jewelry or what it is. But she kind of just like pulls it out in globs and she's not too interested at first. But then she finds like wrapped up in some paper a large bracelet, which they call a bangle.
Yes.
And she's like, "This is so cool." And her mom like turns around immediately, looks at it,
Snatches it.
yeah, and then she's just like, "Oh, that's a bunch of nonsense," and she like gives it to her brother to like put in the attic. But the mom gives you a vibe of like,
She knows.
I don't know.
She knows something. She knows enough to like be a little wary about it. Like she doesn't want Kamala to get involved with whatever this is.
I think she might know that it belonged to somebody in their family in the past that she didn't like, is what I'm guessing. But I don't think she knows the extent of what this bracelet, what the bangle is.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I don't think she would have just put it in the attic, right?
Yeah, I would think she would have done something else about it.
So I think it just reminds her mom of somebody in the past who she doesn't like to talk about, is the idea. Yeah, she quickly like gets Kamala to stop looking at the bangle, and she's like, "All right, come on, you're coming with me. We're going shopping for your brother's wedding."
Yes, you get a nice little shopping montage of them doing a lot of errands to get ready for this wedding that is soon.
Yeah, and Kamala's like having fun, even though I don't think she wanted to be doing stuff for the wedding, but she does have fun along the way. And then you get like little moments of like her mom like looking at her like, "Oh, stop being silly," like stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then they're trying on some clothing for that, I guess is going to be for the wedding.
Yes, and at this point she does not look like she's having fun. She looks so miserable in this dress.
Yeah. And then here's a little bit of like a character moment for her mom. I think her mom is like, she's like a little positive at first, right? She's like, "Oh yeah, that looks good on you," or whatever, even though the salesperson or whatever is trying to say like, "God, you're too small to be wearing this," or something like that.
And she's like, "No, it's too tall." Like she tries to like take the blame off of Kamala.
Yeah, which gives her like a moment of like, okay, she does defend Kamala to some degree. But then like one of her relatives, I think it's like her auntie is what they call them, like comes in.
Yeah, I don't know that it's an actual aunt. I think it's just like women of a certain age in the community are considered the aunties, you know?
Yeah, something like that. And they start gossiping about like some other unknown person, and they're like talking about how they like, oh, they called off their marriage and they're touring Europe or something, and they're like, wow, that is so shameful.
Yes.
Following what you would like to do, that's so shameful. And Kamala tries to like defend the person, be like, oh, that's good that they did that if that's what they wanted to do. And then her mom is like, he's right, you are too small for that outfit or something. Yeah. So yeah, if Kamala doesn't stay in line with what her mom wants, her mom can get pretty negative pretty fast.
Yeah.
And then we cut back to the house, and before Kamala even gets back, and Bruno's just like hanging out with Kamala's dad.
Because he like full on invented an Alexa and like
Yes.
set it up in their house. And it's just like, oh yeah, I taught it, Urdu and it just, it'll turn off and on all of your lights. And I'm like, I don't think these people have like smart lights. It's just okay. Small child wonder has like,
I'm sure Bruno installed them.
I guess, but like
Bruno's got to figure it out. Don't worry about Bruno.
Okay.
But he calls this device Zuzu.
Yes.
So instead of saying Alexa, blah blah blah, you say Zuzu. And yeah, like you said, he taught it Urdu is the name of the language.
Yes.
But this scene is basically showing how good Bruno is with tech, basically.
And also her family. Like, he is beloved by her parents, I think.
Oh, we didn't mention this. Bruno's new plan to get to Avenger Con.
It's just to ask her mom. Surely that'll go well.
Great plan, yeah. Seemed reasonable to me at the time. But Kamala was like, that seems like a bad idea. But as Bruno's leaving the house, he's like, come on, Kamala, you gotta ask your parents. So she basically tries to ask, and she's like very timid about it and everything, trying not to seem too excited, I think. And this is where she's like, Bruno really, really wants to go, and he doesn't have much of a family. Yeah. So I really just want to support him in what he wants to do. Even though she's probably more excited than Bruno is, I think.
Oh, definitely. But yeah, she tries to sell it off like, oh yeah, people will be dressing up for a historical reenactment. It's very educational, yes. But her parents are having none of that.
Yeah. And first they immediately are just like, oh, so you want to go to a party?
A party at night.
Yeah, and they're like, we can't trust boys out there. We can't trust.
Well, no, Kamala's like, what, you don't trust me? And her mom's just like, no, I don't. And her dad's just like, wait a minute, no, we trust you. We just don't trust other people.
Yeah, her mom is like pretty brutal. Like she's like, I don't trust you. And then, but the dad is like trying a little bit, but I would say he's pretty bad too.
Yeah, like this I don't get because like so far what we've seen is she goes where she's told to go and she does what she's told to do. Okay, she backed up a car into another car in her driver's test, but like everybody messes that stuff up. Like maybe she zones out occasionally, but I don't see how like she's not worthy of any trust to like do anything. It seems a little ridiculous.
Yeah, it's super unreasonable, I think. And then she says that she's planning to go to it dressed as Captain Marvel, and this is like apparently this is like a terrible thing to them. Like her mom is like she views like all the superhero outfits as just like skimpy, like tight suit things that are super revealing.
And it drives me crazy because she doesn't even like ask her to show her costume. Like she
Yeah.
just assumes immediately that it's going to be inappropriate. And it's like of all the like lady superheroes, like Captain Marvel's she's covered up. Like sure her pants are maybe a little tight, but like that doesn't mean that Kamala's pants are going to be super tight. Like it's I don't know.
Yeah.
There is a lot I can relate to this child like a lot. Like I grew up in a pretty religious household. I mean, a different religion, but still like the same sort of like vibe of just like, nope, inappropriate stuff. You're not gonna do it. I can relate to her a lot.
Yeah, I was like, if you just show her the outfit, I guess she would have not approved of it. I don't know. It's like it's not that like even if you think Captain Marvel's outfit is tight, which compared to like other superheroes, it's not that bad.
It's not, yeah.
And then but even her version of it is like not tight, right? Like it's pretty much the least revealing superhero outfit you could wear.
And it breaks my heart a little bit because the next scene, like she's trying it on, and she
Yeah.
like at a certain point she starts to like pull at her pants and like gets a thing to like cover up, and I'm just like, oh, you just like killed her enthusiasm for this thing she made and was so pumped about, and
Yeah.
such a bummer.
Sad feels all around.
Yeah.
I did actually think the same thing as you. So she gets out like it's like a scarf, I guess, of some sort.
Yeah.
And she's like about to like tie it around her waist. And at first I thought she was like covering up like something that she was self-conscious about in the outfit from what her mom said. But then I actually think that this might have just been an attempt at like her flair.
That's true. It
I'm not
might have
sure.
been. But like, I don't know, she looked so dejected in that moment. Whether or not the scarf is a response to that, like I still feel like she
Yeah.
got crushed a little bit.
It's still super sad either way, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a big thing in this first episode is that she's trying to discover a flair or a flourish for her outfit because she knows the judges for the contest at Avenger Con are looking for that.
Right.
So I was like a little bit of both, I guess, right here. She was thinking about a flair, but she was doing it in like a sad way.
But before that, her brother comes up to like comfort her after, she gets totally rejected for going. And he's like, I'll talk to them. Because like clearly he's had an easier time. Like he's older, but like when he was a teen, it sounds like he had an easier time getting to go and do like quote unquote normal teen things.
Yeah, he seems like he's very much more than Kamala, like into the mosque, going to the mosque and participating in the mosque activities.
Like he's probably much more religious, like at least like doing all the things you're supposed to do, and that probably makes his parents pretty happy, and that's why he's gotten to have a little bit more freedom on that front, probably.
But yeah, so she's trying on the outfit and she's like fiddling with it, and then her mom is like about to like burst in the room, so she quickly like throws on a robe to cover up. And this is still like it's still sad, but I actually thought this was like a fairly good attempt by her parents to some degree.
Yeah.
After talking to Kamala's brother, they actually like, okay, you can go, but there's a condition. And it's like, your dad is going to drive you there.
And he's going to go in with you, and you're only allowed to be there for 2 hours.
And then she like, and I made something for you. And she like busts out this like Hulk outfit that she made.
But it's like a Hulk outfit, yeah, with like some Pakistani flair to it, like, so it is like essentially what she would need for like that little flare she's looking at for her Captain Marvel costume. It's just on the wrong thing entirely.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good costume, and I believe her mom actually made it, but they don't understand the meaning or the importance of Captain Marvel to Kamala and how much she
Yeah.
looks up to Captain Marvel, so they're not doing that. And her mom ultimately only picked the Hulk because it's like the least revealing outfit she could think of.
Yes.
Yes.
And then her dad comes in and he is also in a similar Hulk, like matching Hulk costume. And he's like gone to the extent of, even though this is just a little demonstration, this is not the day, he's painted his face and arms green. So he's in full Hulk mode. And her mom's just like, look, it's big Hulk, little Hulk. And she's just like, there is no little Hulk. This is not actually, this is not what this is.
Yeah. Her dad like went all out on this, and he actually had a lot of energy when he entered the room.
Oh,
And he
yeah.
seemed
He
like
looks super
really
excited.
excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, really excited. But it's not everything Kamala wanted and was looking forward to, which is reasonable. And she's getting frustrated. And what does she say?
She talks about how embarrassing it's going to be, but it's like a little outburst, and it's just like not a conductive way to conversate about this. But she's a teenager, so you know.
Yeah, I have it here. She's like, I can't go with you, Dad. That it'd be so humiliating. And as soon as she says that, her dad gets like really, really sad.
Yeah.
Too. He went from like super high energy to really sad. And then her mom is also disappointed, and she just kind of walks out.
Well, specifically, her mom is like, no, you can't go out there in a skimpy outfit like all the other girls. That's not you. And I was like I pause it a lot to
Oh
like take
yeah,
notes, but I had to pause for an extra long time there. Like, that's some shit my mom said to me. Like, just
gotcha.
like,
Yeah,
you're not like everybody else. No, you're supposed to be this. And like, that hit hard because it's like being put in a little box and not like, especially when you're a teenager, you're like trying to figure out who you are and try new things. And then it's just like, no, you're this. Stop it. And oh, that hurt.
I actually missed that here, but she does it again at the end, I believe, which is the one I grabbed onto
Mm.
more. And so her mom leaves the room disappointed, and then her dad kind of looks at Kamala, and he just like she's trying to apologize, but he just says like, "Oh, you're not going," in a very sad voice, and he walks out of the room too. So yeah, sad feelings now all
Mm-hmm.
around. Everybody's sad now.
Yep.
But she's gonna text Bruno because she wants to talk with Bruno. This is when we get the cool text conversation on all the background of the streets and stuff between Bruno.
Yeah, and they just go and hang out on a roof because no one is supervising Bruno at his home because he has no parents, I guess.
It's the middle of the night too, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure how she got out of the house.
Yeah, I was a little confused about that too. I was like, why is she allowed to go out at night and hang out on a roof, but she's having so much issues like doing this other thing that's
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't know. And Kamala's like really, really upset, but Bruno is like very nice to
Yeah,
her.
there's definitely a moment where I'm like, this kid looks like he wants to kiss her now, like he's got a big crush on her.
Yeah, they made an obvious moment where they're gonna kiss, but then he, instead of kissing her, because he's also a shy person, he like switches and he pulls out these gloves that he's been working on for the outfit. He takes them out, and she's interested, like, "Whoa, are those photon gloves?" Which I don't think I would have been able to know what those were when he took them out.
Just been like, oh, they just light up, which sure.
Yeah, they're just cool gloves that have light ups on them. I guess it's supposed to be similar to Captain Marvel's,
Mm-hmm.
as close as you can get, I guess.
Yeah.
um, it kind of gets Kamala re-energized and excited, and they do like a little fun like play fight with each other to end the scene, which I thought was really
Yeah.
cute. Yeah, and then
Oh, the next day she has a really rough day. Like at school, she gets hit in the face with a volleyball and she just looks miserable. And then when she gets home, it's awkward. Like her mom's not really talking to her. And her dad, I think, said hi or whatever, but he's mostly fighting with the fake Alexa.
yeah, with Zuzu. I thought her dad was pretty the tone in his voice was kind of like, oh, he was kind of over it, but the mom was
Yeah.
still very, very sad about the whole situation.
Yeah. There was some like awkward silent treatment happening there with the mom, but like her dad was fine, but distracted by Zuzu not working
Yeah.
appropriately.
Yeah, so the dad is like arguing with the Zuzu. But because he's arguing with the Zuzu, Kamala gets an idea.
Yeah.
And we cut right to back to school the next day, and she's like talking to Bruno again, and she's like, I have a plan to get to Avenger Con, and they do. they do this like artistic montage of like she's going through the plan, almost like a silly version of like Ocean's 11, I guess, or something.
Oh yeah, anything where they've like talking about the heist and they show, the
Yeah,
thing as it's going along. But
yeah,
like she gets in her costume, but it's like a real Captain Marvel costume
yeah.
instead of like the one that she made, and they're like jumping off of a bridge on their bikes to get to a bus on time, and it's over the top and fun. But yeah,
But
basically the plan is sneak out and take a bus. It is not a very elaborate plan.
oh, you're on Bruno's side of this. I love this plan. That's what Bruno, as soon as she explains the whole plan, Bruno's like, oh, so your plan is take the bus. But hold on, there's more in this plan that's great. At the beginning of the plan, it has like timestamps. So she has like 9:22 or like
Hmm.
5:22. I'll be sitting down to dinner. And then she like like in her head, like she's imagining how her family will be at dinner, and her brother's like, Kamala, you're the best. I don't think I should have ever been born. Or
Been
something
an
like that.
only child, and they all have
You should have been an
shirts.
only child. Yeah.
They all have shirts that say "I love Kamala" on them,
Yeah.
and they're just talking about how great she is. And she's like, "Oh, I'm so embarrassed. I must leave."
Yeah. And they're like, okay. And then they start like chanting like Kamala, Kamala or something. I don't even remember exactly what it was. But I think yeah, you talk about something. She has like the perfect Captain Marvel outfit on. She like
Hmm.
jumps out of the her bedroom window, does like a gymnastics flip off a tree branch, and then like
Does that
lands
like
on her bike.
classic 3-point like
Yeah.
landing on the ground.
Yeah, and then she like lands on her bike, and then like Bruno's waiting there, and he's dressed as Iron Man in the plan, or not Iron Man, Tony Stark.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
yes.
just Tony Stark. And they're like riding through the streets, and they need to get to the bus quickly, so they like jump off a bridge onto the bus as it's like stopping, and they get on the bus, and they're like the coolest people on the bus.
Hmm.
That's her plan, which is this is gonna go perfectly, right,
Oh
Sarah?
yeah, it pretty much goes exactly like that. Of course.
Yeah. Also, the key element of the plan that gave her the idea is that Zuzu is like automating the whole house. So they're going to be able to like Ferris Bueller the
Yeah, pretend that
situation.
she's still at home. Yes.
So like whenever anybody's about to like go into Kamala's room, it'll like automate like, oh, I'm changing or something so that they won't come in the room.
Hmm.
Which is like, would they not just come back in like a minute later
Yeah,
or talk
yeah.
to you at the door? It's not enough.
But there are like a bunch of cameras in her house. So, I mean, I guess an alarm could go off and she could see the camera and like listen to them and like talk back through the Zuzu, maybe. I'm like hoping that they have something like that set up.
Maybe, yeah. They didn't have to, fortunately, but they did. They do like look at the phone at one point when they're gone, and like they can spy back at the house basically because
Yeah.
the Zuzu's set up to do that. The plan ends with them getting back to the house at 9:22 p.m. I noted.
Yes.
Um, we'll see if that works out.
So, first of all, she needs to finish her flare for her outfit. So she goes up to the attic and finds the bangle from earlier and decides that that is the perfect thing to add to her costume.
Yeah, and this was actually well, Bruno didn't find the bangle. He doesn't know about the bangle, but it was actually Bruno's idea. Like he's like level headed enough to be like, oh, the Hulk outfits might not have been good, but your mom might have had the right idea. You should like include something Pakistani.
Yeah.
So I like that they're working together as a team.
Hmm.
These two.
Yeah. Yeah, they're a good team.
Yeah, she just goes up to the attic and gets the bangle. So and
Yeah.
she's good to go. And now it's time for the execute the plan, Sarah.
Yep. And starts off strong, dinner running late, and
Only 10 minutes late.
but then like she has to get changed, and like it seems like she leaves like 20 minutes late even, I think. So they like she goes to jump out of her window and the tree branch just breaks and she falls, and like I would think that would make a lot of noise and also injure her terribly, but it
Yeah,
doesn't.
it
And
was
she
super goofy. There's this part, and then there's gonna be another part later. Like she legit like full dives headfirst out the window, like suicide
yeah.
dive, if you're familiar with wrestling terms. And she just lands on a branch, it breaks and falls to the ground. Fortunately, she's okay, but she does note that, darn, that was my way back in when I get home. Like she needed that branch to be there.
What I'm
So we're
getting
in trouble
is
here.
that She doesn't sneak out very often, so she did
Yeah.
not know what she was doing.
Yeah. We haven't talked a lot about the like comparisons to Spider-Man so far. It's really just kind of that they're like high school kids. And then it's not gonna be so much in this episode, but like next episode they're kind of do like a montage of her like training
Yeah.
and stuff, which reminded me a lot of like
Oh yeah, a lot of like training specifically on rooftops.
but Spider-Man, Peter Parker, he's like really smart, like top of his class, which Kamala is not. But I feel like Kamala is really high creatively, and that is going to be important for the power that she's going to get later. So they get on their bikes and they're biking, and they get to the top of the bridge, and the bus is coming.
And they've already missed the first bus, so if they miss this one, there's no chance.
And they look at each other and they're like, nah, we probably shouldn't jump off the bridge on our bikes. That made me laugh. Yeah. That made me laugh pretty hard. But they do get on the bus just barely.
Yeah. So just barely that she loses her bike. Like it's just left on the side of the road and she's like, oh.
The bus driver like closes the door as she's getting on and she like can't drag her bike onto the bus. And then I guess bus drivers just don't stop.
Don't stop. Don't care.
Yeah. But they make it to Avenger Con. Pretty successful plan so far, I would say.
Yes, and I think I noticed this. They say it's the home of Captain America or whatever. I guess it's where they Captain America to Captain America.
Oh, really? That's where they're holding it?
Yeah, it's a fort or a camp, or I forget the name of it, but like specifically I saw a sign that was just like home of Captain America. So I guess it's where he got recruited and drugged up on Captain America juice.
Okay, so far with the plan, going pretty well. I think the key flaw in the plan, I think when she outlined the plan, I think she only gave them 60 minutes to hang out at Avenger Con.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff in there they wanted to do.
I think that they're not going to be able to control themselves with that.
But they do seem like they're having a really good time. There's like a lot of booths and merch, and they're taking pictures with things, and it seems like a good time.
Yeah, did you have any key notes from all this? We get like a montage of all the different exhibits or things that you can do at Avenger Con.
Yes, I have specifically, lol, there is a card or an art print that is a drawing of Captain America with a big booty. Like, that's what I took away from this. That's the thing that stood out the most.
Well, what did it say on the card? It was one of the lines that he says.
Oh, I think I was distracted by the booty. I don't remember what it said.
I think it's a line that Ant-Man says at some point in one of the movies, and he's like, "That's America's ass" or something.
Oh, did it actually say that on there?
I think that's what it said on there. Yeah, I forget the context of the joke.
But yeah, that is America's ass. Yes.
I think it's when they go back in time in probably Infinity War, maybe.
Okay.
And somebody's like making fun of Captain Marvel's ass. I think it's Iron Man, probably. And then Ant-Man is like with them, but he's like trying to be cool. He likes to like suck up to Captain Marvel, and he's like,
"You mean disagree. Captain America?"
Yeah, Captain America. Sorry.
Too many captains.
Yes. He tries to he wants to be cool with Captain America, so he's like, "I disagree. That's an America's ass." Something like that. So I think that was what the card said.
I didn't know that was a thing in the actual movie. I just thought that that's what the world called his ass, just like because it's America's ass.
But then they see someone at Avenger Con that they did not expect to see.
It's the popular girl.
Yes. Zoe Zimmer.
She's dressed as Captain Marvel, but like inaccurately.
Yeah, they're like, the costume's not even accurate. And I have in my notes that she looks like a Scooby-Doo haircut. Like,
oh yeah, definitely.
What's I forget the name of the
Daphne. Yes. She's like a Daphne wig on.
Yeah. She did not put much effort into it. But she's actually, we find out later, is like she thought her outfit was really good. So whatever Captain Marvel is to her, she thought she did a good job. And then we also find out that Bruno is not dressed as Tony Stark. He's actually going to be dressed as Bruce Banner.
Yes.
Not the Hulk. Mm-hmm. That would have been cool though if Kamala went as
the Hulk and he was
as Little Hulk, Dad as Big Hulk, and he was Bruce Banner. That would have actually been a good theme of 3 outfits.
Now, see if what's her name, Lady Hulk, She-Hulk, Attorney at Law had come out. Then she could be She-Hulk her dad could be
Oh
Hulk, and that
yeah.
would be a whole thing.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if her mom would have approved of being She-Hulk.
That's true.
But maybe, I don't know, maybe Avenger Con too. They'll be there.
Yeah, maybe. But now, I mean, she's got to go with herself now, right? Because she's a superhero by the end of this. So
I don't know. If you were a superhero, would you dress as yourself to a
probably not.
convention? Probably not.
But no one would expect it, so you could like definitely win the contest, and like no one would think it was actually you. I don't know.
Maybe. But she's gonna head off to the bathroom to get changed for the costume contest, and she kind of like, I guess she gets distracted by the bangle. She's like looking at it again because
Mm-hmm.
she hasn't put it on yet. She just kind of like grabbed it last minute and was like, "Oh, this should work."
Mm-hmm.
I guess she gets distracted by the bangle or something, but and then she picks everything else up after she gets changed, but she drops the photon gloves. Oh no, that was
Oh
I
no.
literally oh no'd out loud when I was watching this. I was like, oh no.
She just left him in the bathroom.
Brutal.
Yeah, when she went back out to Bruno and like was putting on her helmet and like she had a quick rush on the stage, he noticed she didn't have the gloves and that boy looked so devastated.
Yeah. They both should be devastated. Like to put that much effort into something you love and you're excited about, and then to just like make a dumb mistake at the last second is just like, oh, I like it makes me like it gives me like weird feelings just thinking about it. Like, oh man,
Yeah.
this is the worst.
And then like the MC was like, quick, 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 last call for Captain Marvel, so she had to go without it. But she quick got her bracelet on, and then some weird shit happened.
Yeah, she like actually like unreasonably was like, "Oh, I'll just go get them real quick," and then Bruno's like, "No, like you will miss the entire contest." Like Bruno's like, he keeps a level head. This guy, like,
Yeah, yeah.
so she hasn't put on the bangle yet, but like you said, she puts it on. And then, how would you describe what happens when she puts the bangle on?
It's like she falls backwards into another dimension and then like rotates out of it, and there's like spooky shadow people everywhere, and like it's kind of legit creepy. I would have not reacted as calmly as she did to this.
Yeah, I don't watch Stranger Things, but is that what it's like when they go on the upside down? Is that what that's like?
Sure, like it's a less creepy version of the upside down, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, she just kind of like falls backwards through the floor and then like into another dimension real fast, and then she falls backwards to the floor again, and she's like back where she was. But I think before that, like her body starts like getting encased in like this light, whatever it's supposed to
Yes.
be. Like it's like a
It like goes up her arm and then across her back and down her other arm, and she's just like something's happening, but like Bruna doesn't see any of
somehow
this.
Bruno doesn't see any of that. I think he would have if he was paying attention, right? Like maybe not the dimension stuff, but like the armor, like the whatever it is that like glows on her body.
Yeah, like I think it's a thing that people should be able to see. It's
Okay,
not
yeah.
like a representation of something.
Yeah, they at first I was like, oh, is she the only one that can see it? But I don't think that's actually the case.
I think there's just a lot of going on, and he's a little distracted at the moment, I think.
Yeah. So then she like goes on stage, and then the MC guy's like, oh, we have one more contestant. And I guess they had all been like going out to the center stage and like doing a, a thing.
Pose or something,
Yeah.
yeah.
But we didn't get to see anybody else's, and but Kamala's like the last one to go, so she goes out. And there's like a bunch of like flash photography.
And yeah, and bright lights, and she was like
Yeah.
not prepared for it.
Not prepared at all. Yeah. So she's like blocking the flash photography with her hands and stuff. And then she like sticks one hand out like really far. And then something happens with the bangle again. How would you describe this time, sir?
It's like she shoots out a bunch of ice, almost like a platform.
Yes. That's exactly what I wrote. I wrote giant icebergs come out of her arm.
And there is a moment there where she could have gotten away with being like, "Oh, it was a hologram" or whatever, but at some point it starts like it was a platform that she was moving back and forth, but then like she shoots a bit out and it starts like hitting real objects in the world, and then it's like, "Oh, you can't just explain this shit away as like a cool costume anymore."
Yeah. And this is when the shit got kind of silly for me.
Yeah.
So she knocks. We didn't mention this earlier, but there's like you haven't seen the Ant-Man movies, right? But I believe in I want to say the first Ant-Man movie, or I don't know which Marvel movie it was, but there's one point where he's like in the water and he grows to be like 50 feet tall or
Mm-hmm.
something, and he's like next to a boat, and they like recreated that scene at
Ah,
Avenger
okay.
Con with this giant Ant-Man, and her her light iceberg or whatever it is that she conjured, she's like swinging it around like haphazardly, and she knocks it into the giant Ant-Man head. And this Ant-Man head, let me tell you, it falls to the ground, and this thing had like unlimited momentum. Like it did not stop
Yes.
rolling. It was kind of comical how much it just kept speeding up and smashing into everything.
It's like the big boulder in Indiana Jones,
Yeah.
except in a pinball machine because it just kept going and going.
It was like crashing through like picnic tables. It wasn't hitting anybody though, and like it was knocking everything over. And then it finally stopped by like hitting like some sort of apparatus. I don't really know what it was, but then that triggered like mousetrap style, like a rope to break, and then this giant Thor hammer that was hanging from like the rafters comes loose and starts like again like comically swinging down and like through the crowd of people.
But like in the meanwhile, the popular girl has come up to Kamala and is like, "Oh my gosh, do you do birthdays or whatever?" And like I thought people were gonna look at my costume, but oh, so fancy. And Kamala's just like, "Move! There's a giant fucking hammer coming."
Yeah, but but Zoe's not quick on her feet enough, and this Thor hammer comes down and swings and absolutely obliterates Zoe
Oh my
Zimmer.
gosh, yes,
I
just
thought she
takes
was
her.
dead. I literally thought she was dead. I was like, wait, what just happened?
No, it's so like it's so cartoony. It's like Wile E. Coyote, like just getting taken away by a train, like
Yeah.
arms and legs sprawled out. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so she like swings back and forth on it for a while before she finally falls off.
Yeah, she like holds on and the hammer swings back into the shot and she's like still holding on. I was like, oh, okay, I guess she's not dead. But eventually she's gonna like slip off. And then this is also kind of crazy. Like Kamala's reaction to her slipping and falling is like, oh, I'm like a mile away. Not actually a mile, like I don't know, 30 feet away from where she's gonna hit the ground. But let me jump and reach my hand out like that's gonna do anything.
She's got superhero instincts now. She's ready to
Oh, I guess
go.
so. But unfortunately, she like summons a giant arm with a fist on, like a giant fist on the end, made of the light iceberg things or whatever they are at this point.
Yeah, she catches her with it. But like, did you ever as a kid have those like sticky hand things where you're like
Oh, I know what you're talking
slap
about.
them in the
Yeah,
wall? Like it just looked like one of those. That's all I
yeah,
can think of.
a more solid version of that. But
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah, that I love the. It was an action scene, but it was also like comedy too. I like that part.
It's basically a cartoon.
Yeah.
So silly.
Uh, and yeah, well, this whole sequence of events is going to be the end of Avenger Con. Everybody's going to run out of there with confusion and fear.
It was weird because when the Ant-Man head was like rolling around, it seemed like half of the crowd was running away from the head and the other half was still very invested in the costume, the cosplay contest, like the front rows were just like, yes, sure, we're still here.
Oh, like the actors didn't know what to do.
Or maybe I don't know, it was so weird. And then like it wasn't until the hammer came through when people were like, oh no, shit is happening, I should run.
Yeah, yeah. What did they've kind of yada yada over like how they got
Well,
home.
Bruno, being the reasonable, level-headed guy he is, like grabs her and is like, "We have to leave. Like it's time to go." And I think they just got on his bike and probably caught a bus and went home.
And they get back to the house, and then they can't use the tree branch, so like he's trying to help her like hoist her back up onto the roof of the house so she can climb in her
Hmm.
bedroom window. And then there's like a moment where she really does not have the strength to pull herself up, but then like the bangle like summons like a light platform out of her foot so she can like press off on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's something like I don't know if she has to like she imagined there being a platform there and then it conjured it for her, or if the like bangle is kind of like telling her. I don't know. I like to think that she just is like imagining it and then that's what's making these things happen.
Yeah, but not like on a conscious level even. Like she's just like it's just, I think she's just operating on all reflex at this point.
Yeah, I
Because
guess.
like she doesn't know what it actually does, so it's just like it's unlocked something in her, and she just probably wished she had something to step on, and therefore something to step on.
Yeah. The way that I would kind of explain this power is, or if anybody is like familiar with the Green Lantern, I feel like it's a lot
Yes.
like the Green Lantern, where your ability to be creative is kind of what makes the power good. You can conjure different things.
Except she doesn't have a terrible CG suit in this, so it's better.
What happens when she crawls back in her bedroom?
Well, surprise, her mom is waiting for her. Never saw that one coming.
Oh, and it's when she gets back in her bedroom, it's 11:11 p.m. So
Oh,
they're
yes, so oof.
less than 2 hours late, but still late, later than the plan. Yeah, her mom's waiting there, and we get another kind of like very disappointed in you kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's so guilt trippy. It's real bad.
Yeah, and the line that stood out to me, which is kind of a line that you stood out to you earlier, is like, "It's time for you to be you," is what she says, and this is just like a total, like, in my opinion, like failure as a parent, where like you're just somewhat like your child is being themselves, but you're
Yeah.
like not giving them credit for it, you know?
Like she thinks she knows what Kamala should be better than like how Kamala knows herself. Like
Yeah,
it's this like I know you better than you know yourself and you're not being you. And it's like that's not accurate at all. And
yeah,
she gives her this like false shitty binary of it's like do you want to be good like we raised you or do you want to be like one of these cosmic people? And I like really don't get this like the person she looks up to most in the world is a woman who saved everyone. Like, why is this a problem? Like,
yeah,
Captain Marvel is a legit good, like, idol to look up to.
yeah.
I don't get it.
And we, the viewer, have like gotten to see Kamala's life for, I don't know, maybe like a week or less now, and like she seems perfectly fine to us, you know?
Yeah. Like, her mom even says, like, this isn't like you. You don't rebel. It's like, then why are you being so hard on her? All the, like, if she's
Exactly.
never given you a problem, why wouldn't you just let her go somewhere?
Yeah. So her mom leaves, and then she lies back down the bed. And I was worried. I was worried for Kamala here because I thought this would really like put her in a bad mood and like kill her motivation and stuff. But she like
Mm-hmm.
lies down the bed and she looks at the bangle and she's like, "I choose to be cosmic" or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's how the episode ends before the after credits.
Yes, because what would a Marvel anything be without an after credit scene?
Even though she gets in trouble, it's still like a happy ending because she still got to go to the thing she wanted to go to, and in the end, she's not going to be deterred from who she really
Mm-hmm.
is, which I appreciated.
Yes, she has a strong spirit despite all of her obstacles she's facing.
And before we get to the after credits, the closing music for this was really fun too. It was some sort of like, I don't actually know where the music is from, but it sounded based on the fact that they're Pakistani. It was some sort of Pakistani pop.
Mm. Yeah, that was real good.
Would that be called P-pop, Sarah?
I mean, if they wanted to, sure. But then they'd have to fight with something a friend of ours suggested to me before, which is Punjabi pop, which is from India. So, I mean, there's a lot of contenders for
Oh,
P-pop out there, I think.
there's no I-pop.
I mean, there might be. I don't know.
It's a little too close to IHOP.
Good music and pancakes. Sure, go for it.
But then we get to the after the closing scene, and this is where we get, okay, what's the like the parents can't be the villain and like the main villain of this, right?
As hard as they try, it
Yeah, as
can't
hard
be
as they
them.
try, yeah. Um, we're gonna cut to this mysterious office workers, and this woman is like pulling up like social media footage of Kamala at Avenger Con. Oh, we didn't mention Kamala did have like a helmet on.
Yeah, and a bit of a mask, so like it went over her eyes, the top of her head.
So her identity was not known to people. Like even her classmate Zoe Zimmer did not recognize it was her, which is why she was like asking
Yeah.
her to do parties for her or whatever she was doing before she got hit by the hammer.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so crazy. But then so this woman that's looking at Kamala on social media, she like takes it over this guy, and at first this guy's like, "Oh, those cosplay people, they're always doing crazy stuff." But then she's like, "No, this one looks legit," and then he's just like, "Bring her in." And then that's the official that's the official end of the episode.
She's gonna get some agency coming after her. It's gonna be no good for her.
Yeah.
In theory.
Was that fun or was that fun, Sarah?
That show is great. I loved it.
That's great. Okay, good. Good recovery after Food Wars last week.
Yes, I like this a million times more than Food Wars.
Okay, good.
And I'm gonna keep watching it because
I already have.
I already have.
Okay. All right. 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, way
for Miss Marvel. The only thing I want to talk about, Bruno is going to be like her confidant.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, he's going to know about the powers. So they're going to like work together and kind of like train on like how to use the power to actually be a superhero, basically, because she doesn't really know how it works.
Yeah.
Her immediate like thought of what to do is actually, I don't know, what was the video game they showed her like looking at or thinking of? Like, was it like Mario?
Oh yeah, some sort of platformer.
Yeah, like 3D platforming game. So I don't know if this would have been my immediate thought, but her immediate thought is just like, oh, I'll summon a bunch of platforms so I can like run in the air.
Yeah.
I feel like she should just be able to like summon platforms below her feet and then like fly herself around.
Oh yeah, that would be better.
Maybe that's an advanced thing that she'll get later. Like I said before, I think like this power is going to come down to like her ability to be creative with it.
Yeah.
Which should play into her strengths once she has more experience with the power.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't think that would be my first instinct because like heights are scary. So I don't think I wanna.
Oh, you're not going up right away.
I don't think I'm going up right away. It would take a while before I went up.
Yeah, I don't know. She floated the platform into the giant Ant-Man head, so my first thought was like, oh, she should be able to fly with this ability, but that is not how she's going to go about progressing. Maybe her decision is a little bit safer than mine, seeing how she's going to perform in the beginning.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you have anything else you wanted to talk about, either this episode or episode 2 and 3?
I love a good, strong female hero, and I think that's what she's shaping up to be. And yeah, it's just fun.
Oh, what I thought was fun in the next episode is like, so her and Bruno are gonna like, I guess they're gonna spend more time with each other now that they have this like superpower to work on. So they're kind of, her and Bruno are like spending even more time with each other than they were before. But then this like new kid is gonna show up at school, and Kamala is gonna be like instantly like into this guy.
Yeah, and he's also like funny. Pakistani, so like they have a connection on that level that like Bruno can't compete with, really.
Yeah, so there's gonna be a little Bruno versus this new guy rivalry. I love triangles, so
yeah,
that piqued my interest immediately again in episode 2.
It is right up your alley.
Yes. So much fun. Okay, let's circle back around and talk about what we want to do for the next episode.
Clearly not a show that I pick.
Well, okay. Again, I was just thinking, since the Obi-Wan Kenobi finale just happened, we probably want to talk about it sooner than later.
This is fair.
While people at least have it in their minds a little bit.
I agree. I do not fault you for this trend we are on. It's fine.
So yeah, I think it would be fun to do an Obi-Wan Kenobi second half. So we'll talk about episodes 4, 5, and 6. And then we'll have a little debate over what we liked and didn't like. And maybe one of us will convince the other that it's either it was good and okay, or maybe they had a lot of missed opportunities.
And if anybody has any thoughts or feelings about the Obi-Wan second half, let us know.
Yeah, they might have a lot more thoughts and feelings after we debate it.
Well, that's true. You can let us know then too. So James, how can they let us know?
You want me to do this part?
Yeah, I'm gonna make you do it for once.
Well, hold on, no.
No.
I just wanted, this is not for next time, but I just wanted to get this out on our radar as something I think we will talk about in the future, since I saw an article about it this week. The Harley Quinn animated series on HBO is going to have season 3 released at the end of July. You had the exact date, right?
Yeah, I think it was the 27th.
27th. You and I are both fans of the show.
Oh, I was trying so hard not to spoil how excited I am about this next season.
Oh, well, this would be another situation where we'd be deterring from the normal format, I believe, because I was thinking we would not watch the beginning of Harley Quinn.
You'd watch the new season?
We would watch the new season.
Okay.
Now I don't know exactly how we should talk about it. Do we just spoil? We'll probably end up spoiling things from season 1 and 2.
We always spoil things.
I think we definitely will.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of like, I don't know if you plan. Do you plan on rewatching it before it releases?
Maybe if we're going to talk about it. It's not like that long, and I do love it. So
yeah,
solid
I might
maybe.
try to watch it too. But just for fun for me and probably for you, I don't know how many episodes we're going to want to have come out before we talk about it.
Yeah.
But being able to rehash some of the things that we remember from season 1 and 2, I think would actually help my enjoyment of the show as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So I don't know if it will be a podcast that is going to stray too far from the format, but hopefully at least it can also just be for a reminder to people that are fans of Harley Quinn and just didn't realize season 3 was coming out.
Or if you haven't watched it, here's your information. It's amazing. Quick catch up.
Okay. I just want to get that on our radar.
Yeah, I like that.
But okay. Ask me again.
So next week, we'll talk about the second half of Obi-Wan, and people should let us know their thoughts. And where can they let us know their thoughts?
Contact us by email at keepwatchingpod@gmail. That's POD, keepwatchingpod@gmail.com. We're also on Twitter at keepwatchingpod, Instagram at keepwatchingpod, and YouTube at keepwatchingpod.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Bye.
Bye.